Hello and welcome to the show. We are back at my auto test course, going to be taking 3 more vehicles around here. You guys wanted to see some different cars tackle it, so that is what we have got for you today, starting with perhaps the most requested car of them all, and that would be the Panto. It is tiny, it is rear-wheel drive, a decent turn of speed as well, should be ideally suited to this sort of course. Before we set off, I would like to show you one thing, because when I loaded it in this map, for whatever reason, our Futo over here decided it didn't want to behave itself. The cars are supposed to be in the gazebo. You know, they're supposed to be like the Dominator. The Dominator is well behaved. The Futo is not. I wouldn't be looking so nonchalant if I was that mechanic. That is literally a slight breeze away from landing on his face. Yeah, don't ask. I don't know why it's spawning up there. But there we go. The course, in case you didn't see the previous video I did on here, briefly explain what we have to do. There are 4 types of gates around here. We have these orange poles, must be driven through forwards. These kind of red cones with the lights on top must be driven through in reverse. Tyre bundles must be donutted, one complete donut around these. And the final sort of gate is the cones over here, the parking space. We must have the full length of the car within the parking space. With the reverse cones, we must have both the rear wheels past. Now, this angle here is a little bit of a trickier one to get. The other ones are a little simpler. But yeah, both rear wheels must be past the cones. And that's it. I say that's it. This is a very, very narrow technical course. Auto test is horrendously demanding for these sort of cars, so we're going to try and drive it as quickly as possible. If we clip a gate, it will be a 5-second time penalty. We're going to get 3 runs at each of these cars to try and get as faster a time as possible. And I'm hoping, in the Panto, we can do relatively well. Now, the tricky bit with this, I think, is going to be the control in reverse. I don't have a huge amount of confidence with this car going in reverse. I have used also all of the game's upgrades for the engine, so it is as powerful as possible. That will give me more chance of getting the car sideways, helps get the rear around some of the nastier corners. The very, very short wheelbase in the Panto is helping no end already. I've got to be quite careful with this. The rear end can be quite snappy on it, and that can get you into a lot of trouble. Now, our slalom, the awkward slalom, as I like to call it, is designed to be a very, very nasty bugger. It's not designed to be your normal flowing slalom. You do have to take slightly loopy lines through there to get a car through it. The Panto, perhaps the most likely to be able to do something like a decent, normal job of it. Into this last section, the Panto is absolutely glorious, I've got to say. So far, this Panto has proved to be, this is a very, very good first run. If we don't cock it up now, coming towards the finish line, through the last couple of gates we go, and past the end of the building. Ignore the green flag. The green flag, I was supposed to get a finish flag, and I was going to put it in, well, the end of the building is where we're marking the end of the time trial. I was supposed to put a finish flag in, and for whatever reason, the map editor gave me that flag, and it dumped it in, like automatically placed it in, and I can't get rid of it. No matter what I try, it just won't let me select it to remove it, so it's stuck there. Ignore the flag, it's not supposed to be there. Well, that's a pretty damn good first run. That's a clean first run from the Panto as well. I think we can perhaps go a little bit braver, but we've got to bear in mind here is that if we go a bit braver, we run the risk of bumping into cones. Reverse control isn't quite as terrible as I thought it was. Now, ideally, if we can get away without spinning the wheels on the car, that would... if we get away without spinning the wheels on the car when it's not necessary, that would be good if we could actually find some traction. It's why the little Fiat 500 race car did so well. It was all-wheel drive, and it didn't waste any unnecessary time spinning the wheels. Reverse it in, through there. Now, can we get the awkward slalom in the Panto like an actual slalom? We won't get the final gate. We won't get the final gate like that, though. That's the issue. You can't do. You've got to take the wider lines around there. I gave it a go. I don't know if it's actually going to be faster. I doubt this run is going to be faster because it was a fair big change of direction. Oh, and it's not going to be faster when we do that. Turned in too soon, and around we go. Okay. Yeah, messed up the reverse bit of driving. Ooh, you've got to be very aware with the tiny wheelbase on this car. Great for the agility factor around here. Power's good as well, but it can be twitchy, especially when you're in reverse. It can be twitchy. However, Yeah, okay, I made a little mistake. We have to try the slalom, it's slight difference, and reversing didn't quite go to plan. However, this is a brilliant car. It is as good as you would expect through this course. Come on, Panto. We've even got a little bit of a flamethrower going on that time around. Can we go any faster here? Oh, I've gone back a little bit too far. The real trick with the reverse gates is you want to get the car stopped as quick as possible after, you know, the reversing bit. Leave it too long, you go too far back. But you do have to get through the gate. You have to make sure the back of the car has gone through. So it is a smidge challenging in some of these places. Almost went into the into the parking space. Completely wonky. No, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. We've got it through. Just we have to have a little bit of a correction there. Oh, it's all gone horrendously wrong for the Panto. There we go. That's kind of, yeah, it can be done easier with the Panto. You still got to remember to sort of loop it round and a reverse twist. Yeah, we had a little bit of had to have a second go at getting it in a reverse gate. Not a gate that you normally have problems on. However, it did cause issues for the Panto there. And spin it round. Don't clip the railing. And up across the jump we go. Around the tyre bundle for the final time. I'm liking this car. I'm liking this car on this course. Oh, I tried to be too clever. Trying to be too clever coming into the final gate to make up some of the lost time. Didn't work. Now, that first run was actually spot on. I think the first run, there was the right amount of caution used and not trying to overdrive the car. I think that's probably what cost me a little bit later on and trying different things to go quicker. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant auto test car is the Panto. Got to watch the twitchiness, whether it be in reverse or whether it be going forward. However, get it right, and that is, yeah, absolutely spot on. Hello, Flying Futo. No, your eyes do not deceive you. Our second vehicle is indeed going to be a Prius. You see, you lot wanted to see me take a front-wheel drive car around here, as, well, we had an all-wheel drive and 2 rear-wheel drives last time, and you wanted to see a Prius take it, and you'd like to be mean to me, so this is what we've got. Yep. I'm not expecting it to do well either. However, I'm going to give it... Well, I say I'm not expecting it to do well either. I have a plan. Because I'm not expecting this first run to work out particularly well for the car. Oh, that's not even managed to get its way far enough through there. Going to have a reverse. Now, we might be able to make it through this opening bit. I think we can physically get the car around here. Or possibly. This is where we're going to have issues, in that I don't think we can actually get the Prius around there. No, we can't. Like, you physically can't. One of the advantages. One of the things you can use with this car and with some of the other front-wheel drives is they are quite snappy when you use the handbrake. You can actually get them to rotate very, very quickly when you use the handbrake. The problem is we need to actually have a little bit of momentum about it when you use it, and you're not going to around this course. It is just too narrow. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? What am I doing? I forgot we don't have any, of course. Well, I say we don't have any. We can't get the back end to spin, so we've got to... Oh, yeah, this doesn't work. This doesn't work at all. We can't get, we can't get the momentum to get the rear end to get turned. We can't get the speed to get it to go twitchy, and it's just not going to work. The J-turn should be pretty good, though. Yeah, that will work well for the Prius. Oh, there we go. Oh, damn it, managed to crash into the parking space. Oh, issues. Get off the cone. Now, I did... that's not quite what I meant to do. That's not quite what I meant to do with you, a tool car. There we go. We can get around there. Now, as I was about to say before we got a little bit distracted by things, yeah, when I reloaded up the game, I went around for a couple of test runs with the Mamba again just to kind of re-familiarise myself with the area. I did come up with a new tactic for coming out of that parking bay as we crossed the line on a terrible first run. For coming out of that parking bay, this bit here is one of the tighter parts on the course. I'm not going to run it again just so I don't have any extra advantage with the Prius, but the rules I got to get the back wheels past the cone. It don't say I can't reverse back further. So if you actually just keep going straight back from there, you kind of keep going back to here, and then you can twist the car, and then you're going, you know, in a much better angle to make it around that corner. It means that a lot more vehicles can actually survive that corner. Similar thing with this rear one, or this final one. I'm thinking we're going to have to go a little bit further. Like, we have to donut around the tyre. However, we can go further back up this way to get to that, or to get a run up so we can flick the car through that area. As expected, the Prius doesn't work. It's just, yeah, doesn't work through a lot of the course. So, my cunning plan is to get rid of the rear tyres. Now, the vehicle's still going to be front-wheel drive. However, with the rear tyres gone, I'm hoping the speed needed to use the handbrake and twist the back end should now be a lot lower. Fingers crossed. It is a big fingers crossed moment because I don't really know how well this is going to work, and I fear it might make the car very, very unpredictable. However, potentially this could work. Oh, a little bit too far back before we got on the power. This is going to be the first real test. Can we? Yeah, that works. That actually works very, very well. We are at slow speeds, yes. However, the back end is still coming around on us nicely. Oh, look, carefully does it around here. Oh, ever so slightly brushed the tyre bundle on our way through there. It is a little bit of a penalty. However, if we can get through with just one penalty, I'll be amazed with this car, because this is, it's that unpredictability that goes on with this that is difficult to manage with. Okay, flick it through there, and then the other way, and if we... Oh, okay, that's quite a tactic, actually. If you hold a handbrake, if you get it a little bit speed, hold handbrake, and then use the throttle, you can kind of get the car turning as if it's a rear-wheel drive car spinning the wheels. That's very weird. Like, I'm not sure if that's even... Yeah, that even makes sense, or quite how that makes sense, but that's how it works. We can get it to spin the wheels, and we can get it to rotate in the way that I want it to. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is actually kind of working. This is actually working very, very well as we come into the final of the donut sections. Oh, come on, Prius, come on, Prius. Well, if we go through there, that should line us up. Oh, a little bit too much on the old rotation front. Oh, I think we may have brushed the wall ever so slightly. In fact, one of the tyres went as we crossed the line. I'm not actually sure if we brushed the wall or got very close. If we did, it was like a paper's width from that wall at the end there. That does actually work really very well. Now, unfortunately, I have lost a tyre at the back, and I think I actually want the tyres back on the car. I know this sounds quite weird, however, when there are tyres, like, when there is sort of just flat tyres on the back, you get fraction more grip than when you have it literally running on the rims. And that was going really well. So I want the car back in the same state that it was. There we go. For our final run. I still think that the donut area is still the toughest part, because while there is a way you can get this car kind of around it, it's still the bit that it really doesn't like, because there's no momentum going into it, because it's so narrow. I think that's going to be the toughest part on this course for our tireless Prius. There we go, back through there. I also don't have any trust in this car at all when we're in reverse, because I really don't know. Like, I don't know what it's going to do at all there, and there's no point risking matters. Now, here we use the... Oh, it's exactly the same thing. We kind of can't get it turned quite in the... Yeah, in the usual way. That's a little bit of a shame that we have such issues there. And some of the simpler gates are actually now trickier, and there is, again... It's just the unpredictability of this car is the issue. Also, now if we do get a lot of wheel spin pulling away from something, the torque steer is worse. It's a lot worse in this because, of course, the back end's doing weird and wonderful things. Up through the awkward slalom we go, just about as well as any of the rear-wheel drive cars, quite frankly. That's going to be an issue because I've not rotated it around enough. Bugger! Didn't want to have to grab a shuffle. However, not much we can do there. Oh, rear tyre's gone. I don't know why that tyre's gone. That's going to make that's going to make life difficult for me here. Oh, we'll scrape that code as well. I think the run's pretty much gone with that rear tyre. Because I say gone, it's still drivable, but now we've got uneven levels of grip at the back. Not that there is much, and we have got a tad bit extra of unpredictability like that. There we go. That's the issue that we have with the tyre gone. And oh, now they both are gone, and now it doesn't really. Yeah. Well, across the line, but it wasn't good. It is kind of doable. It is kind of doable. With you have to. I have to cheat a little bit. You've got to use your ingenuity, I would say, with the Prius to get that one to go. Use your ingenuity, and you can get it through the course. However, it is quite unpredictable, and if the full-on carcass bursts, then you are in a lot of trouble, because then your unpredictability is 10 times worse, and then it doesn't really work. But I have got a Prius around an autocross course, just about. I mean, that's some bonus points in some way, I think. The final vehicle to go is somewhat more sensible. I've gone for the Retro Comet, a car that I think might be able to make it through this course. Plenty of power to the rear wheels, relatively small. It's not the smallest of the sports cars, but a relatively compact vehicle. Should mean it can get through the gates. I haven't got the mighty wing. I know this car could have a huge wing. However, that will get caught. And it's just extra width that we don't need to try and get through some of these very, very narrow gates. I've now got to get myself out of tireless Prius driving mode and get into the mindset of a rear-wheel drive sports car. That wasn't a particularly good turn to start with. Through the gate we go. Right, off to a decent start. So far. The issue with like the sports cars and the supercars, aside from the actual physical size of them as we managed to bump into the tyre bundle, is that they can have a fair amount of grip. And while you need an element of grip, what you don't want is a car that suddenly finds grip in a corner. If a car suddenly finds grip when going around this course, it will propel itself, with these things being as fast as they are, it will propel itself very quickly towards the next gate, and perhaps too quickly for you to be quite prepared. And that is, one of the issues with the sports cars and so on. It can happen with it, I would imagine. Well, it's already happened a little bit so far on this run. Oh, God. Gotta get the camera spun around as well. That's the difficult part. This should now work out better, I hope. Oh, come on, get round. Oh, yes, we made it. Just. We had to kind of inch it to make sure that we would make that one. But there we go. And then we want to kind of get out over this way to get ourselves at a nice angle into the final. Oh, no, that's not going to make that. Even with a reshuffle, didn't make that. Okay, I might have to go back a little bit further. For that one across the line, went a little bit wrong, a little bit awry at the end there. Okay, there is definitely promise. It's when it suddenly finds traction and then suddenly wants to go. That I think can catch me out a fair bit around here. Also got to be aware that while it is a relatively small car, it's still bigger than like the Panto, for example. So we might need a little bit more run up for some of these corners. I think there is potential, at least, though, in the Retro Comet. We've not got a very good job through there. Carefully does it. That's actually a really tricky bit to get right. Oh, we've overshot a tad there. We can bring it back. See, thankfully, we can bring it back in this car. Come on, get around that tyre bundle. Oh, it almost worked. We just clipped one of the fenders on that one. Whoops, never mind. It's still okay. We're still okay. We're still good. Still good. Get that back end around and then reverse through there. Okay, this is where we have a little issue because unlike the Mamba that was so good around here, this just doesn't quite keep its wheels spinning for as long, although that has worked out quite nicely for me. Spin it round there and then J-turn, point in the right direction. Perfect. And then up in towards the parking bay we go. Maybe a little bit too far forward. Cost us a little bit of time, but never mind. And then back out there. Now, we've got to really run the car into the corner there to get it turned. Yeah, unlike the Panto, not quite as nice. I mean, the Panto doesn't even have to worry about going far back because it has got the turning circle, essentially, to make it. Oh, that's really awkward for the Comet. I've not got that one right. It is across the line. I think we only had one clip, and that was around the first donut. I think I clipped the tyre all the way through. Yeah, I clipped the tyre bundle in the middle, actually. Sorry, going through the donut. What did we do wrong? I'm looking at the tyre tracks. Yeah, we needed to be... either we needed to be a slight bit later on the handbrake, getting that round, or a little bit further to the left. But when you leave it further to the left, you run the risk of catching the pole with the back of your car. So thankfully, we can use the tyre tracks to see where we were going. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. I don't know if I can get... I think it can do all of the stunts individually. It's just trying to throw it all together with the Comet that is quite tough because there is that... You're never quite sure. Or certainly, I'm never quite sure where it's going to find some grip and then want to spit me towards a corner with, sudden speed. Oh, that's not good, is it? Oh, no, we have got it right. We've got it right around there this time around, which is nice. I daren't take too much speed around these parts because the car is so quick. Oh, no. The car is so quick that it can, suddenly plough you into something. Unfortunately, for me, we weren't... I thought we were straight coming out of the parking bay, but apparently we were not. And as we backed up into the cone, it didn't work. Can we actually at least, though, get the final gate correctly this time around, though? That will be the question. And I guess if we've had a mega run elsewhere through the course, we might be able to go quick. I doubt it, though, quite frankly. As, yeah, the clogging of the time didn't really cost us any time, whereas this one here, stuff has cost us. Nah, I've chucked that in all wrong. Ah, shame. It's a shame, that. It really is. The Comet is good. However, we go for a bigger run-up. We go for a bigger run-up down here, goddammit, and then yank the handbrake around. There we go. That's more like it across the line. We can do it. You need a really big run-up with the Comet. Yeah, that's... it's a tough guy. That's what happens if you pull the handbrake at the wrong point. You're too far to the left. Sports cars, it doesn't quite work with as well, this course. I'm going to be honest. There is a little too much traction. I mean, look at the size of those rear tyres, yeah. A little bit too much traction in them actually makes it a tad difficult to get around some of these corners. Is, yeah, it's certainly an interesting experience. Nevertheless, I like the Panto. The Panto was good fun. On to the leaderboard, and the Panto just couldn't quite go fast enough. It loses out on that top spot by just 0.3 of a second. The all-wheel drive little race car it's got the launch out of the corners, and that is enough. That is enough to make up the time. It doesn't get around some of the twistier bits better than the Panto by any means necessary, but it's just that launch out of the corners will keep it at the top spot. The Panto is great fun. In fact, in many ways, I think the Panto is more fun to drive around here, but yeah, just a little bit slower. The Caterham will hold on to its third place ahead of the Retro Comet. Yeah, the Comet finding sort of random grip almost at times can make it a little bit tough on some of the very, very technical sections. You've got to bear in mind the Caterham, dimensions-wise as well, overall, is a smaller car than the Comet, and that will probably help it with some of the very, very narrow gates around it. I designed the course to be technical. This is kind of finding out what cars do and don't work, and the Comet is right on the borderline of stuff that will work. Perhaps most surprising of all, and I got to say, the Prius is, yes, it is down at the bottom, and with 2 penalties, it's the unpredictability, the difficulty in getting any consistency with the Prius that is one of the biggest problems. However, it's very, very comparable in terms of speed to that Futo. Yes, it is almost 4 seconds down, but that is, you know, from penalties. I am very, very surprised that with the tyres gone in that Prius, that you can set that sort of time. The Futo, much nicer to drive, much easier to drive around this circuit, but that was not a result that I was expecting, or that you were expecting, and probably, yeah, be a tough for the most. It's, yeah, difficult though with the tyres, never really knowing quite where you stand with that car. That, though, is going to be it for this video. I shall put a link in the description to all the mods I've used. You can download this track. You can have a play around with this track, see if you can go faster or more consistent than I around here. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.